waves their paddle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons, the Transformers. Robots in disguise, the Transformers.
Alright there, my giant-sized fan things. How you all doing? Hope you're all keeping safe. Today I thought I'd take a look at the Transformers Netflix Siege series, I think that's what they're calling it. Bumblebee figure. This lovely little yellow, very expensive love bug. I do actually really like the figure, I can't lie. I thought I'd be cynical for a minute and make a comment about how expensive he is to get, which he bloody is. But I actually really like him. I actually managed to get this guy from Kapow Toys. I haven't got much from them recently. I've had issues with them and so have other people I know, but they had these guys in as an import of the Japanese stock, so it cost me about 30 quid. Actually, like maybe a tenner more than they really would have been in retail, but I can't complain. I mean, just look at this guy. He's a lovely little yellow bot. He's a brilliant representation of his appearance in the G1 cartoon, and well, yeah, okay, yeah, again, you all know my shtick. Bumblebee is from this particular version of Bumblebee, shall I say, is from the original G1 cartoon. Back in the 1980s, Transformers came on the market, and the cartoon had Bumblebee in it aplenty. He was the token character who sort of got on with the humans. He actually, originally, that role was given to Hound in the original pilot, but for whatever reason, Bumblebee, being the smaller robot, he's the one who, going forward, was the one that they associated more with interacting with the humans. And he had a really cool toy back in the day. It was a little yellow VW Beetle. I think it was meant to be it was supposed to be a penny racer, which is like those little Japanese toys where they put a penny in the back of a little toy car and it rolls off. But in the series, he was just supposed to be a full-sized VW Beetle, and he was pretty cool in the show. And he also appeared in the comic books. He had quite a few decent roles in the comic books. I remember having Transformers Universe issue 1, and he's there on the cover. It's really cool. Though, yeah, he has some slightly less than some other comic book covers that show he doesn't have the best of times. Yeah, this is actually a lot of that's a lot of cracker to go through if you take the covers as being gospel to the story. But yeah, this actual version is released as part of, as I said, a Netflix wave, because Netflix did the series War for Cybertron, and they did the first part, which was War for Cybertron Siege, where Bumblebee appeared in that as kind of he was an Energon scout. He was the kind of guy who would find Energon on the dying planet, and he wasn't really interested in joining either side of the conflict. It wasn't until later that he decided to be an Autobot, rather begrudgingly at first. But yeah, he was cool in the show, and this figure is meant to be that guy, but at the same time it's quite clearly like an update of his original G1 design. And ostensibly this is a retool of the Cliffjumper Earthrise mould. I reviewed that figure, I really like it, and I bought the other two versions, the other two releases of it. The bumper one, which was really cool, and I sold it onto a friend of mine. And Bugbite, who I really wanted until he turned up. And then the fact he wasn't on this mould really annoyed me, so I sold him off, because that was a missed opportunity for a figure. He should have been on this mould, they should have waited. But either way, back to this figure. This figure, as you can see, is really, really cool. The yellow is spot on, the colour scheme is great, the face has this lovely jovial appearance to it, and it's just a great rendition of that G1 design. And it has the same issues and same things as the Cliffjumper had, because they're apart from the parts that form the outer shell of the vehicle, they're the same transformation style, same articulation. I mean, he's really well articulated, and those large feet really help him balance. I mean, you can get him in a decent running pose, and despite being a small figure for his class and what I paid for him, he's still really well done. He's compact, he's, as I said, articulate, and he comes with a fair bit of stuff. Just like Cliffjumper, he comes with his bazooka, which he never used in the show, I don't think. I mean, they could have put other things with him, really. They could have released him with a Spike figure. That would be really cool, rather than releasing him with this bazooka. If they wanted to make up with the plastic count in it, could have released him with Spike, or I don't know. See, they could, or some other useful accessories. But I do like this one. It's a decent can at the end of the day. It's effect parts compatible, so You can stick a big blast in the end, make it look like he's firing off. That's okay. I'll give you that. That's great. That's pretty cool. Or perhaps more Bumblebee-esque. You could take it apart and it splits into 2 hand blasters. I think they suit him a bit better. They look more like something like he'd actually use. I can imagine him more dual wielding these little chubby guns, and it looks really cool with them. And of course, these 2 parts are blast effect part compatible, and they're actually really good with him blasting away with them. There's like one of the old IDW comic covers which I couldn't find. I'm sure it exists. This actually might be my memory playing tricks on me. It might actually be Cliffjumper on the cover, but I'm like 90% sure it's Bumblebee, him blazing away with 2 guns running towards the screen, or running towards the reader. That's pretty cool. The back end of the VW vehicle mode, just like the back of the vehicle mode does with Cliffjumper, it attaches and detaches to parts form while transforming, and just like that one that Cliffjumper came with, you can put it into his hand as a shield. I think it looks really cool as a riot shield. Using the back end of the bazooka stock, it folds out into like a riot baton, and I think that's really, really good with them. Goes alright with the IDW 2 idea, or the new IDW universe idea of him being more security, being a bit more of a bruiser. That's really cool. And if you happen to pick up the accessory pack that came out for, I think it was Under Siege at the time, it does come with his little gun that he used in G1. That looks really good in his hands. It's properly scaled to him. That's a bit more of an in-keeping gun, shall we say, and yet again, you can put a blast effect part on it. It looks really good with it. I've got no complaints. He's actually really, really cool, holding this little gun, blasting away. But also, just like Cliffjumper, it kind of looks really cool, just carrying a giant oversized weapon. In this case, just like Cliff, the giant 2-handed hammer made from the little gun accessory that comes with Soundwave, which I think is meant to go on Megatron's back to like complete his look. And is it smack down or slam down? The battle mass that turns into a hammer. Just put them 2 together and have him hold it like a giant hammer. This looks good. And of course, being a Siege figure, he has plenty of weapon ports. I don't have any weaponizers with me at the moment, but I could slap a bunch of accessories onto him. He's got other ones on his feet as well, and one where his backpack plugs in. But as you can see, you can really weaponize him up to the nines if you really wanted to. And not only that, being a Siege figure, if you feel so inclined, you could also take advantage of all the little impact pimples on him. Really recreate some of those Marvel comic book covers where he got shot to crap, didn't he? But yeah, they look really cool on here, and I'm pretty sure anyone who's had to sit through all the Bayverse movies would really love to see a Bumblebee just getting shot to hell. I know I definitely would. Yeah, that's the figure. It's really cool. Now let me compare it to some other Transformers in my collection. Here is obviously the one I've really got to do, Cliffjumper. And as you can see, they share like 90% the same body. The only real differences are the car parts. The chest is made from different car parts, the feet, the backpack is made from different parts, the heads are different, but like the core engineering, the arms, most of the legs, the main torso, the waist, the crotch, all that is the same. But the 2 look good next to each other, and they look distinct enough. They look like 2 Transformers of a similar design, but clearly 2 very separate individuals, which I really like. Here he is next to another G1 Autobot Transformer in my collection, Studio Series Jazz. They look good together. Yeah, they look really cool. Yet again, 2 Autobots introduced early in the series back in More Than Meets the Eye, the original pilot, and I think they look good together. Here he is next to what I think is like the best Voyager mould we've had in the last few years, Kingdom Inferno. I love this mould. It looks great as Inferno, it looks good as Grapple. It's actually better as Inferno because they fixed a few quality issues or a few hiccups in like the things that made the old Grapple version of this mould break. But anyway, next to Inferno, he looks really cool. I like it. Here he is next to another like hard nostalgia slap of a Transformer, the Netflix. Oh, yeah, it's still on the Netflix. The Netflix Siege version of Soundwave. Yet again, I paid. Actually, no. I'll tell you, I paid a reasonable price for this. I found someone on a Facebook seller sold me this for a very reasonable price, and I can't complain about that. I was really chuffed with it. And yeah, this is like my childhood here with little Bumblebee and Soundwave. They look really good together. 2 masters of espionage. Really, really cool. If he's next to Earthrise Optimus Prime, they scale together perfectly for I think for how they were in the show, and they both look really, really good together. And here he is with the Leader Class Studio Series Grimlock. I'll have to just change the camera pan on that. Just yeah, as you can see, Bumblebee's a small guy, but Grimlock's also a tall one, so there's a bit of a size difference between the two. Actually, Bumblebee looks kind of like the size that Wheelie should be. Like the little Wheelie we got with Grimlock really should have been another figure the size of this guy, but I can't complain, this looks really cool. Transforming the figure, exactly the same as it was with Cliffjumper, so just transform it over into vehicle mode. And as you can see, he's the iconic little VW bug. This is actually an officially licensed likeness, so that's really cool. It's actually a really, really nice mould. It looks like a VW bug. There's actually someone by me who actually owns a yellow VW bug in this colour. It's like vibrant yellow. No Autobot logo though, he hasn't gone all the way yet. But this vehicle mode is really nice. I've got no qualms with it whatsoever. The only thing they maybe could have done is there's no spare wheel on the back, which I'm not entirely sure if that was always in the show, but I seem to remember there being a spare wheel on the back. I know like Masterpiece versions do it, but apart from that, this is a really beautiful mould. And if you want to do it, like you could do with Cliffjumper, you can take the bazooka apart, attach the parts onto the vehicle mode and have it in this jet ski hydrofoil alternative vehicle mode. No one ever displays them like this, but it's just a thing you can do if you want to. And comparing it to other vehicles, here he is next to Cliffjumper. As you can see, like in vehicle mode, they look completely different. It's amazing, like the base engineering is the same, but put them in vehicle modes, you'd never guess they were so similar in design. It's brilliant. Here he's next to Jazz. Yes, I did that nerve-wracking thing of transforming Jazz into vehicle mode. Whoever had the idea of making all of his joints that have to be slightly stressed clear blue plastic was a madman, was a sadist. Oh, but I managed to do it. Oh yeah, one other thing with Bumblebee is there's a few parts where you've just got to get teased, like some clear blue plastic parts that have been painted yellow, which I'm afraid might chip at some point, round to get them into vehicle mode. I haven't had any trouble with them yet, but I'm cautious that they might rub or crack at some point. Here he's next to Inferno in vehicle mode. Yeah, again, Inferno, I love that mould. Looks good together. Here he is with Optimus Prime. Scale, perfect. Perfect scale between the two. They look amazing. I love this. This is like peak G1 cartoon. It looks great. And here he is with Studio Series Grimlock, which again is slightly too tall to get in frame properly, but as you can see, it's a really nice scale. It looks more like Godzilla compared to this guy than a T-Rex, but I love it. Oh, and then speaking of like him being small, he's small enough to be one of the few Transformers in my collection that will actually fit in the back of Earthrise Optimus Prime's trailer, which is really nice. There's not many of them, but I like it when you can actually get one in there. And yeah, that's it for the figure. I really like it. I paid a little more than I maybe should have for it, but I don't begrudge it. It's a beautiful figure. It sits well in my collection. It's well made. It was well worth it. I'd happily buy this figure again as a glyph or tap out, or if they actually do a proper repaint as Bugbite. But yeah, at the end of the day, I really love this figure. If you can find a copy, at the minute I think only Kapow might have sold out. They weren't sold out the last time I looked earlier in the day. They might have some left in. There's some floating about on eBay, very expensive, or you might get a few restocks very quickly on certain stores like In Demand or Comics and Cocktails. If you can get it, I recommend getting it, because I hope we get re-release of this. We're getting a Shattered Glass Gold Bug later in the year, which might be on this mould, or it might be on something like Runabout or Runamuck possibly. But there's a chance we might get a re-release of this, because Bumblebee always sells. Bumblebee is always popular in the toy aisles. So yeah, there's hope. Well, that's it folks. I hope you enjoyed my review. Hope it entertained you a little bit. And as always, I want you all to stay safe, stay sane, and keep on rolling. And I'll see you all next time. Ta-da!